welcome to the Sharpe Club. So happy to have you with me today. A little bit past 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and I know it is late. You guys are like, wait a minute, Larry, you do your show at 7. I tell you this like every week, but you don't listen. Monday is special. Monday special. I get special permission from my caretakers to stay up late, so I start at 9. Okay, so don't get mad at me. I asked Tatiana if I could have some extra time. She said yes, and then she gave me some cookies, and we were all happy, okay? So please don't bother me. But tonight, I have a very interesting conversation about music. And you probably heard what happened recently with Mr. Trump and with others, too, with their music and their politics. And I have a star-studded panel. People who you will not believe how cool the people are. I have an entrepreneur, a man who has started up. He's the founder of Peace Logic. He is the man himself, Dean Robinson. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing, Larry? It's so good to be on your show.
I'm glad you are here, my friend. And I have a singer, songwriter, musician, activist. She's like all of the things. She's probably more things than that. I've known her like, I want to say how long because, yeah, okay, no, like 6 months. How about that? I'm not going to say like 10 years. I'm going to say like 6 months. Tatiana Moroz, how are you?
Very good, thanks. I'm proud of our 10 years. What are you talking about? It's even longer since the Ron Paul days in 2012.
And I met you when you were 7, so that's correct. Yes, I was 9, and you were 7, so it was completely fine.
I don't apologize for living this long.
There we go.
Here and proud of it all.
And now we have believe it or not, an entrepreneur and DJ, a man who some of you may remember, some of you will not, but not under this moniker, DJ Guantanamo Bae. How are you, sir?
Not bad. How you doing, Larry?
Doing great.
Just
Go ahead.
Not just excited to talk music.
This is the thing I want to bring up right away. I mean, it came recently, right? The song "Hold On, I'm Coming" by Isaac Hayes. I don't know if he produced it or sang it. I'm not sure, but he had the rights to it at one point. I'm not sure what part of the music he controlled. I know he didn't sing it. Other people sang it, so I don't know who owned it, but I assume it was him. Is being used by Donald Trump, and his son, who is Isaac Hayes III, got really pissed off, was not happy, and according to him, sent a cease and desist. Again, according to him, don't know what happened. I'm telling you what according to him. And according to him, the Trump people said, take a hike, we don't care. And now he's mad and suing and wants them to not do it anymore. Should we care about this? Does this matter?
Yeah. This is indicative of a larger issue with music in that people are allowed to, well, if you look at a TikTok, right? People will have custom music, right? And you'll listen to it and it's actually a well-known song, right? That artist is not getting paid for them using that instead of tagging the actual song on there. So we've got essentially.
But hold on. What do you mean? So you're saying they should either be paid or be tagged? I didn't get that part.
If you get tagged, you get paid, right? So your song is being used on TikTok. It's officially uploaded to TikTok via you or your label. So if they don't tag you, you don't get paid for it. And
so I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So people are making custom songs, and it's not really custom. It's a video they exported on their own, and then your song is not tagged, and therefore you don't get paid. It's people using something you have ownership over, and you don't get anything out of it. It's the same with sort of. I'm not sure if Trump is paying them to play the song at a rally, but also that's another instance.
That song, no. Like I don't know any of this stuff, but I know that song he's not paying.
So from what I understand, like just to jump in, because all right, so one day I remember, I mean, I have been really anti the performance rights associations for a very long time. Like I think they just do a crappy job and they didn't help me out.
Hold on, that doesn't mean anything to me. You got to tell me what that is.
There is 3 different organizations that are supposed to basically like collect royalties on behalf of the artist, right?
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, like I had a song that a bunch of random people started telling me about that they were using it in movie theaters, right? And they were using it during the beginning where they have the trivia and the stuff before the trailer. So they're kind of, and so all of a sudden my song was played all over the place, and it was played all over the country for I don't know, 4,000 theaters or something. And nobody ever asked me No, nobody ever paid me. Nobody ever asked me. I got
Oh, that sucks.
It was crap. Like I think maybe I got $100, but the reason why it was so messed up was because it was under this generic license that you're allowed to use it. And I believe I didn't deep dive into this case that much, but I'm pretty sure that this may have been why he was able to use it initially. I think it fell under those that are like general music for public and not music that's sort of, I guess, a little bit more specialized. At the time, I made the argument. I was like, look, you guys are selling, Coca-Colas in between my songs, so I should be getting something for it. And they didn't even ask me. And that was the other thing. Like they asked, I don't know, anytime I've ever licensed anything, which hasn't been that many times, I feel like nobody ever asks anybody for it. So I'm not.
Well, by the way, just for clarity,
mm-hmm.
if you look at the song that comes on the beginning of this show, I did pay for it. Just so you're clear, I did pay for it. Just so people, wait, Larry, no, I paid for it. It says right there with permission. It's right there on a thing because I did pay for it. So YouTube, don't get mad at me. So I don't know, Dean. I mean, is this? You're an entrepreneur. Don't you just want to steal all their music? Is that what you want to do? Steal their music and tell them to go to hell?
I remember back in the day, right, when music theft, between individual users was commonplace, right? You would go online to a pirate site or whatever, and you download all the music you wanted. That was the thing. And also with programs, with like the Apple IIe, Macintosh, all these things, like piracy was, it was rampant, right?
Yep.
And
I think it still is. I mean, it's still a lot of it. There's still a lot of it. There's actually a saying now. I don't know if you know this. The kids say this. They go, do you want to watch it or do you want to sail the 7 seas? That's literally a saying they use.
So there's a couple of things. I mean, artists do want they do want to be recognized, right? So if you have somebody big like Trump that's promoting your music, then that might be great if you're a small artist and you're unknown. But if you're a large artist, right, and you're trying to protect your brand, what they're concerned about is the association with that music. Like just simply by playing that music, you is that artist saying, I endorse the message of that music? Now, there's a couple of ways of addressing that. Like right now, I'm licensing music for my documentaries, and there's a special clause basically that's called sensitive content. So even when you go to a stock music site where it says, hey, for $300, you can choose between all this music all year long and use it but when you read the actual details, it's not just carte blanche, right? So if you're doing a political message, or if you are doing a movie about suicide or something like that, this is considered sensitive content.
I got you.
You need an extra special license on top of the regular license that you have. I can assign your music to the most horrible crap I want. I just got to pay you more. That's what it is, right? So it really is that. Now there might be some people that just have, there's a borderline, right? I'm promoting Hitler. There's just no way I'm going to.
You are so trying to get me canceled. You're using all the words to get me canceled. Thank you, Dean. I appreciate it. Yes, all of the words to get me canceled. It's okay. That's why I'm also on Rumble.
I'm sorry. I don't
know. Do you think that maybe they had to set the permissions from the jump? Because I'm pretty sure that I don't know who can make, like, if he licensed it under the thing that I suspect, which is that generic kind of like public use license. Right. Can anybody stop themselves, even if it is Nazi music or not? Sorry, I said the N word, but like, can anybody even? I think under that licensure, you don't have the ability to do that. It's kind of like the public space. But I'm not sure. I'm not. It's been a while since I studied my copyright law.
I missed that part. License to do what? I missed that part that you were saying.
License to use the music. Like, I don't know where people can stop it. I think you can stop it if it's used in a commercial, right? And you're trying to sell, a Toyota or something. But I mean, if he's just in a public area and like before a concert, there's lots of music played beforehand. So I think that's the license. It's that like play all music because it's out in some way. But again,
all of that stuff is covered by license. You wouldn't believe how detailed it gets, right? There's public performance, right? There's sensitive content. There's all kinds of things. So now, but who is
okay,
actually
hold on. Now, this is what everyone says, though, right? Here's all the time. They say, you know, it's not fair. This is art. Art is for the people. You got to give it to the people. Why are we making it all businessy? All these corporate people. Clearly, Tatiana, you are just a greedy artist breaking in the dough, and you just want everyone to you're probably like a billionaire already from all your music. I'm assuming billionaire. Maybe
especially Liberty Music that really pays the bills.
Oh
Woo!
My God, raking it in. Absolutely. So
for for all my bribery money.
Exactly. Yes.
Message of freedom.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
The people that say that are what we refer to as useful idiots. Essentially, and this really to me goes back to the extension of copyright to these like ridiculous amounts of time, right? It used to be like started out in 10 years and then it turned into like 80, right?
Yep.
So at some point, your art becomes folklore, right?
Right.
And 10 years is about right? Like now you think of Star Wars and it almost becomes like it's not just that movie. It's like the people have an idea of what Star Wars is as a piece of folklore, not just that one thing. So the same thing is
Star Wars is 50 years. Star Wars isn't 10.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's already gotten a following that's bigger than the franchise itself. Like you have people making fan art. So it's the same with music, right? Because people want to take music that has been around for a certain amount of time and remix that music. But you have these incredibly long copyrights, and then people start to just say, you know what, this is ridiculous. And then you had people who were already saying it's ridiculous, but then you got the internet along with that. So people actually had the capacity to turn that into what they wanted it to. And now so many people don't care about copyright that they're just overwhelming the system with the amount of.
So haven't artists just said, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm just going to do like sell merch and do live shows because I can't make any money off this damn thing anymore. That's what I hear. Like this is not my business. I could be wrong. But what I hear is like, you know, whatever. I'm not going to care if someone takes it. I just want to go sell my t-shirts and my hats. Yeah. And then I want to go off and do a show and charge $55,000 for a ticket. And that's how I'm going to make my money. Am I wrong?
And that's why your tickets, if you buy a ticket to any show, it's, you know, $200 to go see, like we're going to see Creed, a friend of mine, you know.
Why would you do something like that?
Because then we can be like, I'm free, you know, I'm
teasing Creed fans. I'm
going
teasing
to see it in itself is a meme.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. You just made a meme. Yes,
but no, I mean that's why you have $200 concerts, and that's why the regular artists can't make their way up because you can't sell a $200 ticket to your show when you're first starting out, but you might be able to make some digital sales. You might be able to get people to stream your music.
I heard people tell me this, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. I heard that to be a musician, an artist in music at all, it is easier than ever to make a living and harder than ever to be a star. Is that true?
No, I don't think that's true. Let me give you an example. So I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston. I started managing a bunch of recording studios before I got into libertarian stuff in 2012. And what I found like gigging in New York was that nobody was getting paid to do original music. And I was pretty diligent. I had a good work ethic. Like I still remember to this day, somebody paying me $50 and I was like, holy cannoli, I just saved $50. And it was rough, right? So when I got into Bitcoin in 2012, in 2014, I made the world's first artist cryptocurrency. And the reason why I made it was because I kept making my profiles for Friendster, then MySpace, then like YouTube, then Facebook. And by the time I got to Facebook, I realized that I couldn't even reach my fans unless I was paying extra. And it really pissed me off because for me, an artist needs that core. And this was around the time that Indiegogo was doing like those crowdfunds, not like they have every 5 seconds now. But this was really old school where this woman, Amanda Palmer, she was fundraising that way. And so she would go online and she would say, all right, you can donate $10 and you get like, you know, a t-shirt or whatever. So I did that, but with a cryptocurrency, because I felt like all these other methods could be censored. And I also wanted to educate people about Bitcoin in the first place, like about money. And my goal was to solve two problems, fans and funding, because most of the time you're not able to reach your fans, and most of the time you can't record a record. So I record a record, right? Let's say it costs me 15 grand to record an album, because I'm recording real music, right? With mastering and hiring the band and keeping it lean and mean. But let's say it costs that much. Now, let's say I have 1 million streams on Spotify. I get $1,000 from my streams on Spotify. Do you know how hard it is and how many hours it takes to get to 1 million streams on Spotify? Like, that is not math.
Gitmo does know. He's done it. He knows.
So then you take somebody like, I have a musician friend. He's in LA. He's got Grammys. And I always see him going around with these artists, and they look like these funky indie artists. They're doing tours. And I'm like, how are you guys even paying for this? He's like, oh yeah, we barely break even. So, and also, like, it's a lot of kind of fluff where the artists are kind of fronting. But the problem is that if you're, let's say, a sugar baby, or your dad gave you a lot of money, or you're just kind of like spoiled, your music isn't going to be that good. You need the suffering. So, at the end of the day, like, I consistently find the problem to be that, you know, I'll spend 15 grand just to record the record, then like marketing, whatever. I mean, you're supposed to have 50 grand minimum for marketing. Nobody's got that, like, as an indie artist. But like, the ROI really isn't there. What I haven't seen is the music industry and NFT kind of like tokenization really take off in terms of fans wanting that. So a lot of times people will say, oh, you should make NFTs, you should do this crypto shit. Excuse my language. But really,
you've already said the words that get me canceled. Shit is fine. Like, well, shit is good.
But there's no market for it. So it ends up kind of detracting from an artist's focus. So I'm pretty
so hold on, let me you just went Gitmo, tell me what she talking about with this Spotify. I don't get this. I'm clearly a boomer, so I guess I don't get it, but I know that's the cool thing. I know Spotify somehow pays you. Yeah. So can you just get your 1 million and then get your 15,000 back, and then Tatiana makes her money back? Is that how that works?
Yeah, well, to tie into
No, go ahead. I didn't think he explained it correctly, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want him to.
Do you want to finish?
Yes, go.
So to tie into what you're saying, Tatiana, essentially Spotify was a Trojan horse, right? Mm-hmm. We were purchasing songs through digital download, right? And so you would buy a song and you own the song, right? They said, well, what if you could just stream everything as much as you want, right?
Sounds great.
Easy day, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can split up that distribution. But the problem is, when Spotify is only $10 a month, there's only so much money to go around, right? Mm-hmm. So that $10, people used to make money off CD sales. Like, you could make enough to get by. Yep. And this is sort of where, Tatiana, I think you were kind of referencing. It's like, yeah, you can make money off the tour, right? Like, you might make $5 grand for showing up to open up for Martin Garrix or something, right?
Probably made it open for him. Incidentally, that's the other like problem with a lot of the bigger artists. If you want to open for them, you have to pay for part of the tour cost, and it's actually quite a lot.
Yeah, and
that's like a side note, but that's also like a fucker. You know, like they just get you right at every corner.
So there goes 25% of the money you made off of it, right? Mm-hmm. You got to spend another 25% getting back to where you came from. So you might have half that. Then you need to spend that money on promoting your music on Spotify, right? And the thing is, so as you were saying, Larry, Spotify is going to give you, for me personally, I usually get about 3,000 per million streams, right? That's garbage, right? It's
if you're dropping 15 grand to make a music, 3 grand for $1 million, you're right. It's nothing. I completely agree. You gotta, my God.
It's a negative ROI, and it's not a trivial negative ROI. It's like negative, anywhere from -30 to -80%. And not just that, but Spotify actually sells you a service where they will promote your music on Spotify for 50 cents cost per click. 50 cents cost per click. Not even a play. Just it will promote it. Yes, not even a play. And then it's a scam. They're selling you. what am I thinking of? It's like they take the cart and they sell it back to you or whatever. There's some saying about that. I don't know. Maybe I just made that up.
Let me grab, if I could, a quick super chat. Alexa, thank you for a super chat, $5. Love this topic, tonight's topic. As a musician with a few albums worth of original music, I can really appreciate everything being said. Yeah, I think, this is the thing. I'm not a musician. I like music, but most of the music I get, I either watch like on YouTube or to be forward, my daughters tell me what the cool music is. I don't even know. Like she'll say, hey, Dad, look at this. And that's the cool thing now. So then I don't know how she gets it. She might be sailing the 7 seas and she might not be. She might be paying for it. I would have no idea whether she does that. She actually does go to concerts though. My oldest one, who's 20, she actually does go to concerts. So she does spend the money. She goes to probably one every, I don't know, several months. She goes to a concert. So she actually does spend the money that way. But she might be pirating the actual music. I don't actually know. So just interesting piece there. I do want to grab a couple more comments if I could. Just here, if I could here. Let's see here. Rick is teasing me. He says, new drinking game. Take a shot when Larry says, I'm not joking. Kill the whole thing when he adds, I wish I was. Just joking. Now I am joking. See, so that takes care of that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So Tom says that Dean guy looks like someone definitely special. I think you have a fan, Dean. I think you have a Dean. Okay. I think you have a fan. I think you do.
Love to hear that. I'm definitely trying to
Joel
do good
says,
things.
when a garage band plays a local band, a bar, they're supposed to submit their playlist and pay the royalties associated with the use of the songs they're playing. Now, this is what I never understood. There's like a bazillion cover bands, right? They're everywhere. And I know, like, I could probably name 3 of them. I would name them. I know the guys in them. I don't know names, but I know at least 3 guys who play in a cover band, and they're literally playing other people's music. Literally, they're a cover band, right?
Right.
Is he right? Does Joel right? Are they supposed to be paying for this, or I don't get it? Dean, tell me. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you do have to license the actual. So there's the original artist, and he produced the music, and then let's say, I mean, there's a funny one, Happy Birthday. You wouldn't believe that Happy Birthday is copyright, and that every time somebody in a movie sings Happy Birthday, they have to pay some outrageous fee, right? Which is crazy. But yeah, if you're going to do a cover of something, you do need licensing for that, but it's different licensing, right?
So if you're a cover band, you pay a flat fee to be a cover band.
You have permission to perform the song, right? Which is different than licensing the original piece of music from somebody.
That seems odd. So I can play the thing for money if it's me, but I can't play for something else. I don't get that one.
No. I just mean that there are 2 different kinds of licensing agreements, right? So one is, you produced Pink Floyd, The Wall or something. You want to license that music for your documentary. And then there is, I want to reproduce that performance.
Oh, got it. Okay, now I get it.
It's not going to have the original singers. It's going to be a different band people, all of that stuff. And that's a different kind of license, right? That you are granted, right? But it still requires a license. You can't just take somebody's music and go like, I'm going to recreate it, right? You still need a license for that. It's less expensive, clearly, for those that provide the license, because some people might not even give you the option to perform their music, right? You need to, all of these, it's all legalese, right? You need everything.
I want to go back to what Gitmo was saying, right? I remember this, our copyright laws are bad for many reasons, and they're good for reasons too, right? They're both. But here's the part that drives me crazy. We just found it out with like Mickey Mouse, right? Mickey Mouse was something like 99 years after the death of the guy or whatever it was. It was some crazy amount of time right? Something nutty like that. And I remember talking to a lawyer, an IP lawyer, and she said, no, Larry, you don't understand. That's a good law. I said, why? It's a stupid law. 99 years after someone's dead? That's stupid, right? That's way too long. And she's like, no, you don't understand. We had to match that with international law. So we had to match the international law. I said, okay, so that's stupid in international law. You didn't make it better by calling it international. Now it's even dumber. Like, you made it dumber. And she was like, well, and she was mad at me, like as if she wrote the law, right? Whatever. She was mad at me. But it's always seemed stupid to be so long. It's just greedy That is the greedy corporation piece, right? That actually is. Now, I don't know if 10 years is enough. I feel like 10 years is short, but maybe 10 years is better. Maybe I'd rather have 10 years. I don't know.
Well,
but I don't want 99 after someone dies.
Wouldn't it just be better if artists could set their own stuff like within a certain limit? I mean, some people want to have their stuff open, some people don't. It seems like giving people the individual rights to decide how long they want to make their music available would be the most fair thing to do. I think a lot of times, like, again, I don't pay that much attention to copyright stuff anymore because I just don't care. But like, I feel like a lot of times people are like thinking about, you know, royalties when the royalties are like $4 total. So like, you know,
Yes.
But anyway, like, I think that the organizations that are negotiating on behalf of the artists a lot of times and making these blanket rules have kind of different objectives and kind of like goals with what they're trying to establish that benefits them, their organization, maybe this one or that one. Like, their collective bargaining is different than what if people would individually be kind of going in on it. So I don't know. I've heard some criticism around around letting those organizations represent all of the voices because they just have like a big, large group. But they don't.
Speaking of voices and speaking of Star Wars, I have to put this out because it just happened. Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, he passed away today at 93.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but he was not just Darth Vader. He was also Thulsa Doom in the Conan Barbarian movie of 1982 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was also Thulsa Doom. So yes, he was both of those amazing evil characters. His voice was that cool. So yes, he did pass away today. So he did a great voice. So, and the reason why he died is because Gitmo Bay said that. That is why he died. It's your fault.
Well, you know, he lived a good life. So I would say, what is best in life? Living a good life.
Yeah. What is best in life? Who knows the answer to that question?
Oh,
come on.
To
crush your enemies,
see them driven before you, to hear the lamentation of their women.
That's correct. Yes, as Conan said in that movie. Well done. Exactly right. Yes, you remember. Yes,
that's pretty impressive, actually.
Yes, it is. That is actually what he said. He was asked what's best in life, and one of the guys said, you know, being out in the wind with the falcons or whatever. And he's like, wrong. You're all wrong. Conan, what is best in life? And he immediately yells, to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Yeah, they were happy. So yes, that was Conan. Anyway, I have dated myself. I actually saw that movie in the theaters.
Wow.
Nice.
Yes, I saw the movie in the theaters. Yes, that is true. So Alexa says,
they are good movies, I guess. Now there's like no reason to go to the movie theater.
There is literally no reason to go to movies right now. There's none. That's accurate. There's none. There's going to be another movie coming out here, and it'll be bad, I'm sure, whatever it is. Alexa says, music can heal a broken soul. So let me walk down that road. Because this is what I mean by this. I want to move to politics if I could. We got upset about, or not upset about, Donald Trump using that song, not paying royalties or not. But what about using people and then moving them politically, right? Remember that guy, I don't remember his name, but he did that song, the Northmen from North Richmond. Remember that guy? Mm-hmm. And everyone said, oh, he's some conservative guy who must love Trump or whatever, and he hates the libs. And they all said that, and all of a sudden he's the most popular guy out there. And they kind of, I mean, some people said he was like a plant or CIA. I mean, everyone's CIA, right? Everyone is. Who knows? But my point is, they were saying he was astroturfed and blah, blah, blah. Then he comes out and he's not that far right. He isn't that far right. And he was used. Does that stuff actually work? Is that a good idea to grab some guy who I think fits my political narrative, sing some song that I think is appropriate, and then use it?
When you say that, I mean, you say using this person, like,
yeah. In other words, I'm running for Senate in some place. I'm running for Congress in some place. Whatever. I'm running for president. Whatever I'm running for, right? And here comes this guy, and I go, oh, this guy's obviously my guy. I'm now going to put him in front and have him open for me because he's singing the song of the people or whatever I think, right? And so I'm not bringing this out. Should I do it? And I mean this not legally. Obviously, legally I can do what I want. I mean kind of ethically, right? Morally, should I do it? Should I do it? And then two, is it going to work? In other words, if I bring this guy in and people go, wow, Larry's one of us. He's got this guy singing. I'm sure I could crack a beer now with Larry because this guy's singing. Does it work?
Yeah. So I would agree with you that they, that's probably an ethical violation, right? I was reading earlier today, someone talked about, do you know the shopping cart theory?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate the shopping cart theory. Why are you guys trying to get rid of that job? Like that's their job. Why do I need to art back?
Well, I just mean that putting it back doesn't
get him. Come on.
Putting it back.
I don't mean it. Like I've always felt like that's like not a good bar.
Yeah. So
okay. So hold on. Explain the shopping cart theory because Dean doesn't get it. I think a bunch of people also don't get it too. Explain it.
Yeah. So so when you go to the store, you get a shopping cart. You put all your stuff in it. You buy it. You buy all the stuff. You go out to your car or truck, whatever, and you put it in. You don't have to return the shopping cart, right? You can just leave it there. There's no consequence for putting the shopping cart back or leaving it there. But as a society, most of us agree that you should put the shopping cart back, right? I feel like we've abandoned that on a whole level as a society.
Yeah, Tatiana just said she's the one who started it. She's like, I'm out.
Sorry, I'll just finish this point. We don't have a problem with lying. People will go up in front of everyone and say something, these news articles, they'll be like, the news article will say, they don't want to take away your gas stove. And then like California bans gas stoves the next week. Right. So from a music perspective, now we can get back to that, but it's like,
you went down a weird road.
I'm just going to use this guy's song and I don't care if it ruins his career. Like that's not my problem.
Okay. You went all the way around, but you got back. You did get back. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, how can you do that with licensing, right? Anybody who's important in music, I can't just go out and whether I love.
No, I didn't mean that. I was talking about a guy like this guy who was kind of like, I mean, he wasn't a nobody, but compared to heavy hitters, he was not a heavy hitter. He was a guy who had, sang some songs locally. People knew who he was locally, but he wasn't a heavy hitter, right? He wasn't out there doing massive stuff. So they basically took him to get most point. They kind of took him and said, you're now our guy, right? You're our new spokesperson guy because clearly you're a man of the people, whatever. And did that destroy his career? I don't know. That I know of, he hasn't made anything else, but maybe he was never going to. Or maybe it really wrecked his career. Maybe now he's connected to the right or something. I don't know, but that's the point.
How can that happen without contacting the artist before using the music? Or are you just...
No. They're literally taking him, physically him.
So they're
saying we're not gonna like hold him hostage. Like he doesn't have to show up to the gig. Like he's going to the gig because somebody... Like he either got paid, like it's a little bit different from the Isaac Hayes thing because Isaac Hayes thing, they're just taking music that's out there already. Somebody's going and they want to be like there. I mean, that's cool. I did music for Ron Paul and I wanted my music to be associated with Ron Paul. Like if I was, Lefty 104, then maybe I wouldn't want to go and like I'll go and play for Jill Stein or whatever. So I don't think that that's like it's just a willing choice that people make.
I mean, part of the problem is that if you're a smaller artist and you produce something amazing, you can be more easily abused, right? Because it really comes down to the amount of lawyers you have and the amount of money you have and being forced into a corner. Don't you want this $100,000? Let's close this. You don't want to be caught up in, in lawfare for the next year or something like that. Take your $100,000 to be happy or something. I don't know.
I think if you're a struggling artist, I think if you're a struggling artist, I think that, they know that, right? Like if I'm raising $1 billion running for president or whatever, and they raise that kind of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever that number is. And now here comes Tatiana and she does a song and I like it. And I go, hey, Tatiana, you haven't hit it big yet. You're not Beyonce yet. I'll throw you some cash. Right. And look, I could see if she'd go, you know what? I'd like some cash. I could see her do that. I wouldn't be mad at her if she did it.
Like you could sign the deal with the devil every single day in the music industry. It doesn't need to be because some politician wants to use your music. Do you want to sign?
No, I disagree completely, Tatiana. Like, no way.
No way. Drinks or something, right?
There is no way that the average artist is having an opportunity for a 6-figure check every week.
That's not what I'm
way.
saying. I'm saying it doesn't matter. That's their game. They're allowed to do a deal. Like, what difference does it make? If they want to take the deal, they take the deal. They don't want to take the deal. Well, there's consequences. Sorry. Like, you say no to money, then the money goes away. Like, that's how, I don't know. Like, that's with any kind of business, right?
Yeah.
I think that, you know, artists can choose. I remember when people thought that licensing your music to a commercial was disgusting. Like, I remember when me and my friends like, it started to become a thing. They were like, ew, I would never let my music be used in a commercial. Now it's one of the like 3 ways that you can make music.
Hell yeah, I wouldn't wait. I couldn't wait if it did that.
Yeah,
well,
and so like the classiness of music has changed in that regard. And in that case, you do have to license some music from somebody. In fact, there was an interesting case that you can't do a sound alike. Because, or maybe, you know what, I wish I had the case at my fingertips. So basically there was a car commercial and they asked Bette Midler, I think it was Bette Midler, to license her song. And she just was like, no. And then they got a sound-alike artist. And I think actually they did her song.
Oh.
It was like a whole big, you know, thing. So,
do you remember the artist, Weird Al Yankovic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic used to say, hey, I want to use your song. I'll pay you. And people sometimes say no. You go, okay, I'm using it anyway. Just sue me. And he would just use it anyway.
Yeah. Well,
and they would sue him, and he'd be like, okay, how much money you want? Will you just stop? Right? You should have just. I would have paid you up front. Now you want to fight me? You got to use lawyers. And I thought to me that was brilliant. I just thought it was brilliant. He's like, I'll pay you.
Learn that from the movie? I never saw the Yankovic movie. Is that where you learned that from?
No. I just knew that was true. I don't, because he actually said it openly. He openly said it. I remember he said it. It was from Michael Jackson's Bad. And then he made the thing, instead of I'm bad, he made I'm fat. And Michael Jackson didn't like it. He was like, no, you can't have it. And he said, I guess you can assume me, Michael, because I'm using it. And he just did it.
Yeah, well, see, like I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with if there's a redress, like that's okay, right? But like, because music has become so worthless, right? Just in terms of like the actual dollars you can get per play, that it's just kind of expected that, you know, oh well, someone's using my music without asking. Well, like what am I going to do about it? How much is it worth?
Yeah,
right?
There's no recourse of any kind. That was the other thing, that not to like shill Bitcoin and like that kind of stuff, but that was the thing that I found intriguing about smart contracts, was like I would constantly make deals with people, just, you know, even just for performances and stuff. And they wouldn't pay, they'd change it up. And like, what are you going to do? And, you know, if you had contracts that were commonly accepted that would execute and would protect artists, then that would be great. The problem is that what's the incentive for them to switch over? They like screwing over artists. They like, it's a great business model.
And it's exacerbating this this Pareto distribution we have, where, you know, there's always going to be, in music or entertainment, there's always going to be 20% of the artists making, you know, 99% of the money, right? But it's worse than that now. It's like 1% making 99% of the money, right? And because it's overall so useless, but they're totally happy with that. The 1%,
of course,
are totally happy, and they're the companies that pay them, their labels or whatever, don't care, because it's all centralized, and that makes it easy to control. And that's why you have like Ticketmaster, you know, owns all of the other ticketing companies essentially.
So before we walk down that road, I want to walk down, but before we go, I want to stay on a politics piece on the opposite side. The opposite side is hating on music for political gain. Do you remember, was it Lil Nas X? I think it was him, who he made like a country song, and then they were like, well, we're going to take off the country things. And everyone said, oh, it's because he's black. And all of a sudden it became a big issue. And then he did another song, and he had like a satanic look to it. And everyone was like, oh, that's it. He's now a baby blood drinking liberal or whatever, right? So then all of a sudden they use that. Does that work? In other words, are people buying it, right? Or do you think that you look at it now and go, oh, clearly Lil Nas X is some baby blood drinking guy and the Dems got him? Do people buy that or no?
I don't think it's a Dems got him. Don't you think it's just like in general, people in the music industry are like putting in satanic imagery for years? I mean, there's been speculation about that all for forever. So, I mean, they just seem to be upping the ante with like the latest degenerate garbage. And they like, I mean, look, he's like having sex with the devil and he's a guy and he's like a hip hop guy. I mean, that's really, ooh, really racy. So they just want to make it more and more gross. And I believe, yeah, I wouldn't look at what Diddy was finding out about everybody. I think that they were into some weird stuff. Whether or not he's drinking baby's blood, I don't know. Like, they're all pieces of crap.
Tell us how you really feel, Tatiana. Okay, stop holding back. All right, we stop holding back.
No,
God damn.
No, you're right. I mean, there is it. You know, because you have to be more provocative than the last person.
Oh, right.
That came before you, and so it just has to get more and more provocative. And the trend, you know, there used to be, and you know, back in my day, right? Like,
right, yes.
But there used to be like a trend of modesty, right? The trend would actually go more towards modesty. But the current trend is towards degeneracy. And so that's why you see more and more. It's just like, I have to make this even crazier. And then, you know, you combine that with sort of the growing amount of agnosticism or atheism. And what are people going to do? Well, they're going to use imagery from whatever the dominant religion is and desecrate it to show how, you know, how.
So I'm gonna have to sit here and let some people know. Shelly is shelling her age with me. She goes, now you have to eat 2 bats. So only certain people will know what that represents.
Well, but I mean, look at, they had, it was.
Oh, Dean's laughing. He knows. Okay, Dean knows.
Well,
So,
the government knew, like, has had control over the music industry for a long time. I don't remember. I don't think it was called MK Ultra, that program. I forgot what it was called, but basically.
No, that was a different one.
Yeah, but they said that basically they had a lot of influence on those 60s and 70s songwriters. They got involved in that whole LSD thing. They were manipulating the Grateful Dead people. They were giving people a bunch of acid. I mean, they've been tapping into music for a variety of things, whether it's not to serve Satan, it doesn't matter. Like, there's always, for at least a while now, I think, been an interest from the government to utilize music. I mean, you go back to Hitler days, right?
You had to do it twice, not once. Had to do it twice, 2 times. You had to mention the H guy.
Whatever,
okay.
Guys.
It's totally fine. I'm totally messing with you. I'm totally messing with you, Tatiana. I'm messing with you.
But you know, like he was also using propaganda in music, so it's not that surprising, considering how much effort they put, you know, with Edward Bernays and all of that. Just the efforts to propagandize people have been around for a long time, and music is great.
Well, Tatiana, you have some fans. You have some fans. Jess says, Tatiana says they're all pieces of crap. Laughing my ass off. So you have some fans here. But if you have fans, here's what I want you guys to do. Obviously, you guys are liking what we're talking about. I'm glad. Then do me a favor. Click the button that is like. Use a digit. I would think the digit you should use your left pinky. If you don't use your left pinky, you're a bad person. That's what you're a bad person. And if you have lost your left pinky, you may use your right pinky. I've given you permission. Do that. It's okay. If you are watching on either Facebook or watching on Twitter, please retweet, repost, re-X, whatever the thing is. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. It does matter. Click that bell for notifications. It's important. If you want your chat to come to the front, please super chat. If you haven't been watching on Larry Sharpe YouTube, you can, because you love me. And if you really love me, then go ahead and become a member. Click that join button. $5 a month. I do much more of this than other things that I do. But no matter what you choose, number one thing, please follow these awesome people who are giving us their time. Please follow Dean over at Peace Logic. Please follow Tatiana over at Queen Tatiana on X. And please follow Gitmo Bae on Instagram at Gitmo, GTMO _Bae, BAE. Do those. Show them the love. It does matter. I really appreciate if you would do so. So let me grab another super chat if I could. Ryan says, is the reason for the really bad music today due to record companies forcing it down our throats? Or is just me being the get off my lawn guy? That's kind of me. I'm the get off my lawn guy. But so
wait, can I just jump in on this? Because I've been pissed about this for like 20 years. Pop music used to be good, okay? You had Stevie Wonder, you had Prince, you had MJ, you had like the Beatles, you had all the different people that were great. And then Britney Spears happened. And ever since Britney Spears happened, it's just trashier and crappier and more horrible. I'm sorry.
She ruined it all.
Just us. Oh, I'm old and like these crazy kids. No, it's garbage. Look at their song called Wet Ass Pee. Okay.
Now you care.
All right.
When you were doing the H guy, you didn't care. This one you care about. I'm kidding.
Well, I feel like it's just such a vulgar name. I don't even want to say it. Like,
no, I agree.
There's just no excuse for the vulgarity that we're now exposed to. When you listen to gangster rap, like Black people used to have great music. They were literally the kings of music. They had jazz, they had blues, they had gospel, they had everything. Motown, rock, everything. Now we've got dirty, crappy rap. Like, is Kendrick Lamar really so fantastic that we have to watch him at the stupid Super Bowl, which is already stupid to begin with? I mean, that guy's music, you can't dance to it, you can't move to it. It's just like with like vaguely angry kind of rebel like lyrics. Like, they're not even rebellious. They don't even make sense. It's trash. I'm sorry, but I'm so disgusted with where music has gone. And I think that what it is that people are going into idiocracy, like that film. You know, our standards are dumbed down. But if you take, you know, some 8-year-old kid and you give him some Led Zeppelin, he's going to think that that's God. And
okay, so hold on. You
disconnect.
got people going back and forth to this one. P says style over substance became the standard. But then Matt says gangster rap is cool though. LOL. He's not wrong. It is cool. It's true. It is cool. He's got that one.
Well, it just doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, it used to be it was a rebellion against the drug war, right?
Yeah,
that's really what rap was, and now it's been completely co-opted to just be like, I don't know. It's got advertisements in it. I mean, Tatiana was talking about this a little bit earlier, like, you know, and I'm going to go to country now. So country, I like country music and electronic music. It's pretty much all I listen to. I know people are like, what?
I know.
But and you know, and satanic worship music. No, I don't.
Tatiana. Yes.
I do not listen to that.
That's the trifecta right there. Okay.
I don't.
There it is. Now you got the whole thing. Perfect.
I don't need the truthers to come at me. So that's a joke. No. So I was listening to this song, and it was on a commercial for Applebee's, and it was like Applebee's on a date night, and I thought, oh, okay, they made this song for Applebee's. No, that's a real song that someone made, and it's like a country song, and they
put Applebee's in the song.
In the country song. Now I don't know if they made the worst thing will be if they didn't make it for Applebee's, hoping that Applebee's would buy it. That's like the ultimate self-cucking, but whatever.
I'm gonna make my entire album like one's got McDonald's in it, one's gonna have Burger King in it. I'm gonna have one in every one of them. They gotta buy one of them. Just I played their odds. One of them will get bought.
If you listen to modern country,
you're a sellout.
Yes.
If you listen to modern country, it's I drink my Bud Light in my Ford truck. They're literally mentioning brands. They just mention brands the whole time.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. There's one that I just saw today. So, and it's special because this guy's a black guy who's singing a country song again, which is the cool thing of the day now. Black people doing country songs is now the cool thing. I didn't realize it was cool, but it is. This guy's name is Shabuzi, and he's singing a song called The Bar Song. That's the name of the song. And he puts the brands in the song, just what you just said. I'm like, man, he's got the brand in the song. No wonder. And now it's got these views. It's got 114 million views.
Yeah, I really don't give a shit who sings a song or not. I do actually think that song was sort of astroturfed. I went to Amsterdam Dance event 2 years ago, and at the event there was this woman in the crowd. I believe she was like Native American, indigenous person. I don't fucking know what the new terminology is yet, but whatever it was. The guy in the front, he said Wild West because he was talking about streaming industry. He called it the Wild West. And so after the show, they were taking questions, and she gets, you know, on her soapbox, and she's like, well, you said Wild West, and that was very offensive, and I feel, you know, this is just the worst. And the guy's like, oh my God, yeah, I'm so sorry. Came up to her after the show, talked to her, whatever. I met another person who was talking to me about decolonizing music. I met another person one guy told us. Wait a
minute, but I thought music is supposed to be raw. Like music is supposed to be art in general. I'm a little bit off top, but you just triggered me.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was at Freedom Fest, and we did a panel on Freedom Fest about the idea of art in general being co-opted by cultural cancellation, right? And that, you know, now you can only say X or say Y. And it was breaking my heart because art, at least in the past, has always been what has pushed the envelope, right? Whether it was music or physical art or whatever, that's been the thing that's pushed the envelope that would push us past our cultural norms so we can make change. If we're co-opting this, I mean, then this goes back, Tatiana, what you talking about. We might just have all the music that's okayed by the people with the armbands and the funny mustaches. We might just have all their songs, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the good thing is that guy's song that you heard, like that song it's okay. It's just as okay as all the other music that's out there. There's nothing special about it.
Oh, I see.
It doesn't really matter at this point, right? It's so corrupt that you might as well just pick someone because of the color of their skin, right? We had another guy at that same conference tell a room full of DJs, yeah, we're not looking for white DJs, too many. He said that to a room with a bunch of white people in it. And I'm like, I'm kind of offended. Like
you should have told him that. Oh,
that's kind of
you said the Wild West.
I was like, that's kind of racist. And people, and look, like there has been, I'm sure there has been an actual suppression of Black voices in country music. I mean, there's no way that hasn't been a thing. So I'm not saying
Charlie Pride. I mean, off the bat, Charlie Pride. Off the bat.
Yep. So but what I'm saying is there's at this point, it really doesn't matter because they're just picking people. They're like, I want this guy to be famous, right? Like Nashville is just full of a bunch of fake country guys anyway. So you might as well pick whoever you want. Like,
got it. If everyone's the same, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it's going to be bad either way. So, I'm not saying that anyone of a certain race or color can't make great music. I'm just saying that that it's all so corrupt at this point that it doesn't really matter.
All right, I got a bunch of I want to grab. Ryan Murphy lets me know it was Oliver Anthony was the guy's name. Alexa also popped it in there too. And hold on, if I can find something. There's a couple people who are saying about him here. Hall Crash says Oliver Anthony is politically volunteerist. Oh, that's nice. But would probably never identify with any political branch. Okay. Ken, hey, Ken, how you doing, brother? He says, Oliver Anthony music, he's not left, he's not right, much more libertarian than anything, but I'm not sure he knew about the philosophy. He has some other good songs. He seems pretty content in not being in the spotlight or being filthy rich. Well, there we go. That's the Oliver Anthony piece. Shelly says, Weird Al is the best. Yes. That's true. Weird Al was good. Yes. She's not wrong there. That's true. She does singles on to say, I crack up at Weird Al. He never disappoints. She really likes Weird Al, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed. So, yes. Ryan goes on to say, Lil Nas X recorded Old Town Road with Billy Ray. That's what it was, Old Town Road. Yes, thank you for that one, Ryan. I've forgotten the name of that song. That's what it was. Yes. And Thomas says, if they're chasing dollars, controversy sells. But isn't it supposed to be, right? This is your point, I think, Tatiana. You're saying they keep pushing it and a piece of crap. Isn't it supposed to be about talented music, good music? Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? It's supposed to be about the music, man.
Look at what we're looking at, okay? Video killed the radio star. And look, we've got
the Buggles.
Look, you've got a bunch of people, especially girls, who have a bunch of daddy issues. You've got a bunch of guys who, come from the wars. Everybody's all mental. And now you've got basically people predisposed to narcissism to just deal with their crappy lives, right? And so they're now on Instagram. And the whole thing about Instagram is just a race to the bottom, right? Like, how can you possibly compete in the context of music when it's all about how much tit you're showing or what kind of image that you can make? Like, music isn't about the image. That's a component, and that should be a part of an artistic expression that some people want to participate in. But now it's not even about the music. It's just about who has the best look, and also who's going to just overshare their stupid, annoying lives and say, oh, look, I'm drinking a smoothie. And oh, I did this today. And everybody's just telling you their stupid lives all the time. And I get it. People are bored and they want to know something from maybe a genuine person. But who wants to sit around and tell people their stupid stories all the time? I just want to do.
I literally posted me drinking a smoothie today. Now I feel stupid, Tatiana.
Well, but I'm just saying, as an artist,
I'm teasing. I don't drink smoothies. I'm totally teasing.
Why do I have to participate in this utter nonsense? And how are you ever going to beat that? Because literally all the narcissism is completely promoted and incentivized. And it's
but hold on, let me push back on this side. Let me push back on this. Isn't one of the goals of music, I mean, there are many obviously, but isn't one of the goals of music to feel like you're connected, like someone else got you or someone else gets you or a group of people get you? Isn't that part of what music is about? So but don't I want to know? Hold on, let me finish. Right. So don't I also want to know that you also drink a smoothie? Like, doesn't that also help to make that connection, or am I wrong?
No, because it's become like too much. Instead of artists just being able to do their music, now they want you to do 50 other stupid things. And like when I went to Berkeley, just this music school, we had a lot of fantastic talent there. And a lot of them just stopped doing music because they sucked at the business part and they didn't want to kind of participate in that. So, you know, not think about artists that were more classical artists like the 60s and 70s. Do you think that Bob Dylan's going to be shilling his stupid, like idiot things that he's doing throughout the day and trying to be cool and like, oh, wow, now I'm going to make another picture where I'm going to be like this. And I'm gonna be
no,
like,
he was too busy being high. There's no way he would have done it. Bob Dylan was way too busy being high. He could have never done that. He's high.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, where are the values of what an artist is? Now it's just oversharing and like Brazilian butt lifts. And like, I just don't think that that's anything that resonates with something that's genuine. And yes, you can get genuine, but look, if your eyes are scrolling, you're scrolling, okay, you see like a little lake, or you're going to look at boobs. I mean, everybody's going to look at
Gitmo, that's your problem, Gitmo. No Brazilian butt lift.
But I do show off. I do show off my cleavage, though. So
okay, that's good. You got that at least.
Well, he kept it hidden this time, so we wouldn't be distracted.
I care about y'all. So the issue here is that kind of what Tatiana's saying. Like, it's like, I shouldn't be getting that feeling from your content. I should get that feeling when I listen to your song, right? Like, I'm part of this is the identity issue thing. And I don't want to say identity politics, but it's just everything's identity now. It's like, oh, I feel connected with you because you shared this picture of your smoothie. Oh my God, I eat smoothies too. Wow, we're the same. It's like, no, I should listen to your song and I should feel like, for example, I used to listen to Taylor Swift. Right when I was a young lad.
Oh, stop! Last week, you liar!
Yeah.
Last week.
I don't listen to her shit anymore. No, she's terrible.
Last week.
I hate Taylor Swift. She's the worst.
Now I've lost half my audience. Yeah. First person I got you saying the H word. Now I got people.
Come at me. Write something. Please write something angry in the comment section. I would love to respond to your comments. Write something angry. Go for it. Because I'm about to go off on.
There we go. There we go.
I want to listen to the going off on Taylor. Like, bring it out.
She used to have good music that meant something. Like it was like, you know, a guy like trying to get the girl. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm the guy. Yeah. Like I'm the guy trying to get her. And like, it was like, she talked about her family and like family values and just like really interesting stuff. And I would listen to it. And I was in the military at the time, and I was so sad being stationed in Guantanamo Bay that I would like sit in my closet, listen to the music, and like cry to myself, right? Like, because it brought me back home. It made me feel like I was sitting in my room, like dreaming about the girl next door, right?
By the way, if you guys don't know, he was actually stationed as a guard at Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. So hence the name.
Yes.
But
did you let anybody out?
But I added the E, and the E is for ecstasy, which
there we go.
I'm on right now.
Yeah, no,
there we go.
I'm kidding.
Now we're talking.
That's an old throwback to Larry. I stole that from him. But
true.
So yeah, so now the music is like shake it off, like shake it off. Like what the fuck does that mean? What is it?
Got it.
When you listen to that, you're like, and all her songs are just about breaking up with guys. She's been singing breakup songs about guys for like 30 years. It's like, bro, like, can you like figure it out? Like, you know, it was like, okay, well, like maybe by the 10th song, I'd believe that maybe you're not the problem, but like, you're like 38 right now. And you know,
hold on, Dean, go ahead.
I think that's an important topic to bring up, right? When we're talking about the psychology of music. And what that means is that as you're listening to a song, right, what I always found frustrating was that I would listen to this amazing song and then I would pay more attention. I would pay close attention to the lyrics. And then I would find out that I'm really just singing along with a song that's talking about some sort of devastating circumstance. I lost the love of my life. I'm going to survive, right? The world is shit, but, I'm going to cry, but I'm going to, I'm going to be with my brothers and we're going to make it. It's that when you listen to I think it's an interesting thing to listen to a broad range of music and actually pay attention to what the words are saying, right? And sometimes it's subtle. It's just hinting. Yeah, my life isn't great. I'm just trying to make it, right? Somebody just broke up with me. The kiss that I wanted that was supposed to be amazing, now it's shit, or whatever it is, right? There is a lot of tragedy and sadness in songs. And when you were, in advertising, several advertising companies, when you repeat a message over and over again, that message starts to stick, right? Relationships don't work out, it's a shitty world we live in, we're going to survive, right?
So are you
tone of negativity?
Hold on, if you're saying if Taylor Swift is singing about all these broke up relationships, are you saying that there are people listening to that and eventually thinking, oh my God, I'll never find the right person?
I think yes. I think that okay. I think that's a valid question to ask, right? And in our upcoming documentary, we have trauma therapists and we have child psychiatrists, and these are the things that we're going to probe, right? Not just in music, but in our discourse, in when things are going wrong, how do you lift your mood back up again? Right?
So hold on, what is this documentary about?
So I haven't narrowed down everything, but there's multiple documentaries that are going to happen. I think one of them that I'm pretty excited about that, I need to give you all the details, but ballot access and how that's affecting democracy. But also, but there are so many other subjects, right? Advertising. I've owned several advertising agencies and I was disgusted by them. I read a book called The End of Advertising, which I recommend people, if they want to check that book out, that they read that book. As I was turning the pages of that book, I was like, oh my God, he's on to me and the social platform I want to create, right? But he would always just miss, right? Because, I used to be a part of the Lyft team. I helped that company become successful. And I would listen to what he was saying. He was a top executive, right? At the top of his field. And he wrote this book and he himself realized how disgusted he was by advertising because it's just a form of manipulation, whether it's used in politics or whether it's used to sell you the next iPad or some cheap equivalent or whatever it is, materialism, what's giving us satisfaction.
So hold on. So how do we find out what you're working on? Do we go to Peace Logic? Is that where we go? How do we figure out what you're working on?
Website will be up soon. You can certainly go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, but there are no videos, but you'll get notified. You can go to the X account, and I think that's the easiest way if you have an X account at Peace Logic. Anybody can send me a DM directly. You can also go to dean@peacelogic.com. I don't mind, I don't mind receiving an email from you. And soon I'm gonna put up a statement about everything that I'm doing and what I'm trying to do. My whole thing really got delayed. I was in front of angel investors almost 5 years ago, but then my entire family died. My mother, my father, my sister, cats, everybody in 15 months.
Yeah,
right?
There's your next song you're gonna write about right there. There's the song.
I know, but you have to be careful about that, right? Because when you start, because that's exactly how artists do this. Some bad shit happens and they're like, let me tell you about my bad shit and how bad the world is. And then we all listen to it. And I think it's a valid question to ask, is that helping us psychologically? I think there is something to say about, hey, I need a moment to grieve, right? Yep. I need to hear a sad song that just goes like, life isn't everything I thought it would be. But if I listen to that too much, and if the motivation for artists is always some tragedy, right? Then what is that? Is that creating momentum?
Well, look, let me be very clear. The song that I use is a song literally called Rise. It is
I love it.
Rise.
I love
It's all
it.
good. It's all about good stuff. Tatiana,
Yeah.
tell us what you're doing. I got a bunch of comments I'm going to grab, but before I go there, what are you doing?
Oh my. Okay, so I'm doing the Rage Against the War Machine rally in DC, September 28th, which I think is going to be really cool. There's another like resist the, I don't know, some other like other big thing. So there's a lot of really good names.
They're back to back, Saturday and Sunday, the 20th,
Yeah,
29th, if you want to be in DC.
Is that associated the 28th and the 29th?
They're not associated, but a lot of the same people.
And there's some like crossover and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're cross promoting, and actually Gerald Solente is having something in, I think, Kingston, New York on the 28th as well. But the bigger thing that I'm excited about, I've been putting together events for a really long time, but I have one called the Counterparty, which is my largest event that I've done so far. So it's going to be in Miami, October 18th to the 20th. And it's basically everything to have a more peaceful, voluntary world outside of voting. Like, I don't want to hear about your presidential candidate. I don't want to hear about vote harder, daddy. No, none of that. We're talking about how to survive the apocalypse. We've got
harder, daddy.
mesh networks. We've got economics lessons. We've got peaceful parenting. We've got permaculture. We've got, a lot of, emotional intelligence work, wellness, health.
So how do they find out about that? Is that through Queen Tatiana or is there something else? How do they find that?
Thecounterparty.com. We actually have early bird tickets right now. They're only $125. So it's almost 3 days of programming. Like right now we have 2 official days with events on the caps, but we may end up doing 3 days of conferencing just because there's a lot of people that want to get together. And it's for people who are freedom-minded who want to have a community. And yeah, where it's right down here in Miami.
There we go. Getbo, tell me what you're doing.
Just working hard every day. I'm doing a charity bike ride coming up from London to Amsterdam to start out Amsterdam dance event. Then I'll be playing a couple shows there. Recently opened up for one of the top 5 artists in the world for electronic music, Martin Garrix in Albania. So that was cool. But if you want to listen to my music, you can go on Spotify, Guantanamo Bae. It's spelled the same as it is right. No, other finger. It's spelled the same as it is right there. Or, my Instagram's at the bottom of the screen. Get me that 3 cents for a stream,
3 cents, baby.
3 cents.
Yes,
I wonder
absolutely.
why you're getting the 3 cents. I want to know about that another day because I was trying to get my numbers updated and it seems like there's some I think this is too nuanced for
I actually have a super quick answer to that. It's the streams are based on the country. So every country is charged a different amount for Spotify. So like America, it's $10, but in Brazil, it's like the equivalent of $2. So you're going to get paid less for a Brazilian stream than you are for an American stream or a European stream. So it's based on the economic prosperity of the country in essence.
Well, there we go. Now we know. Grace says Oliver Anthony turned down $8 million.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
I don't think that was a good choice. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think I would have taken the money. I'm just telling you the truth. I think I might have sold out for that. I might have. I
don't even think he had to sell out. Like he would just have people helping him with his stuff. I don't think that they were trying to make him sing, a Kamala Mamala song.
Well, yeah. And I think the problem too is people don't realize and this is going to keep me from ever getting signed anywhere, but you can take the deal and then you can just do whatever you want. Like they can, there's a redress, but you're the one without the money. So if you can get some money, what are they going to do? They're going to sue you for the money you don't have. Like take the money, make something they hate, and then release it. Like, what are they going to do?
You are like never, ever going to get signed for that one. That's it. You're done.
Does anybody even want to get signed? Like, what's so great about it? Most people are trying to get out of their deal. Like, we're in this transition period. I think where things are going to be different, but I don't know how it's going to shake out. But there's definitely like a mass exodus. People wanting control over their careers, and
I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that.
But hold on, Michael Voss says art has always been a political tool, critique or otherwise, because it sways masses by manipulation, not intellect or reasoning. Generally, the money attached is really significant. Does this art then, in this case, if Mike is correct, does it include, Dean, what you're talking about? Does the art include marketing, right? In this case, do you include marketing as an art or no?
I guess I would have you define it a little bit more clearly. So you're saying
I'm asking you to.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm just trying to understand the question a little bit better. You're saying, is marketing a part of the art of influence, or I'm not?
No. What I'm saying is, if we were to say art, most people, if you said art, they don't say, oh, sculpture, music,
Right.
comedy, acting. They would put that under art, right? That most people would go, yeah, that's all under art. Got it. Oh,
Right.
good.
Right.
Would you, in the case of this case, saying as governments or politics would use, would you say marketing would also be under the banner of art in this case?
I don't think it's art. I think it is creative, though. I think there might be a distinction there, right? In other words, you can be very creative about how you influence people. Now, yeah, I guess maybe under that category, you can say that you're clever, the behavioral science,
Okay.
song to play, right? All of these things, and you could definitely consider that under the creative umbrella, right? But when I just think about pure art, I'm thinking about music, or I'm thinking about paintings, or I'm thinking about sculptures, right? And then there's another classification in which you might say that you are using your talent in many different ways to create influence, and that in itself is another kind of art. It's more of a visionary, right? How do I bring this all together to convince you to vote for Trump or Harris or RFK Jr.? Do I play the right song? What are the right words? All behavioral science. I already know something about you, Larry. You're a libertarian, right? So like knowing that, like, how do I deliver the music?
You just hire Tatiana to write songs and I'm going to eat them all up. I'm going to eat them all up. It's done. All done.
I would disagree with that, because if you look at some old, for example, like World War I or World War II posters where it's like join the army and they have these really cool ads, those have survived over time, and people just have those in their rooms. And
yeah.
But that is it. But
Sam wants you. Remember that one? Uncle Sam wants you.
Yeah, and they're even, I mean, like the old Marlboro ads, right? With the you got some hot chicks smoking, like boom, everywhere. Or the cowboy. So I would disagree. I would say that I don't know if advertisement intends to be art, but I think it can become art.
Okay.
Well, they just give jobs to artists and then they whore it out for their stupid products.
But if if there's a limit to it, right? Like again, like an advertisement inside of a song is perverse, right? That's just gross. You shouldn't mention brand names unless there's a really good reason to do it. Right. But if it is in itself just an advertisement, right? Like the advertisement to get you to join the army during World War I is just an advertisement, right? It's not trying to be anything else. Yeah.
Then that's not art. That's what you're saying.
That is art. The ones that, if it's an advertisement that's so good that it's memorialized, like art is art.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to exclude that, of course. Yeah. I mean, listen.
No, Dean was calling you a liar, Zach.
I just wanted to
argue. You're a liar.
I just wanted to argue. I came here, I was
just give me out people. Yes.
No, I agree with you. I think we can easily argue that our entire lives are a piece of art, right?
I know mine is.
Yeah, everything that we do, right? Our conversations with each other right now is creative.
How I artistically drink.
Love. It's trying to come together, make the world a better place. All of those different things. Yeah,
world's better place. 100%. Alexa says, "Yes, my latest album is electronic. I feel you." So you have some fans, Gitmo. You do. Yeah. However, someone's not happy with Tatiana. Limit Solution says, "Well, Led Zeppelin is God. At the same time, though, Wet is fine too if people like it. Why is it vulgar to talk about the human body when did we become so afraid of ourselves?" Basically, what Limits is saying that you are afraid of yourself.
Wank, effing wank. I have nothing to say. That person's an idiot. If you think that like it's not body positive to talk about your macaroni in a pot yeast infection in a song, like I have nothing to say to that person. Carry on, sir.
There we go.
Yeah, that's stupid. Whoa. I mean, and the thing is too, it's people are doing it because they know that it will promulgate. Like people say provocative things. So this is a trend that really pisses me off recently. People on Twitter will release news that's a joke, but they won't say it's a joke, and it'll be it'll be believable, but not believable, not so unbelievable, but just believable enough. And then they'll put "just joking" in the comments, and it's like that is the ultimate form of clickbait. And every time I see one of those, I just immediately block that account because I'm like, no, fuck you.
Here we go.
Well, there's just so many people doing stupid tricks like that in the first place. I mean, then you're just talking about people with their constant thirst traps. The world is just filled with thirst traps. I feel like we've all been demoted to like a high school level of competition with each other. And it's really ugly and it's really juvenile and it has
That's why. Tatiana, you've just given me the answer. I haven't been able to explore because I won't drop trowel. That's my problem. Okay, that's my next step. I'm going to go on Instagram, drop trowel will be good. Okay, you solved my problem. And when I get arrested, Tatiana, it is your fault. Just so you know, it's all your fault.
I don't know.
Just, you don't know what drop trowel means?
No. Do I want to? It doesn't sound very good.
It actually can be if it's wanted. If someone would like you to, yes, but when they don't want it, it's really bad. That's all I'm saying. So all about consent. It's all about consent, is what I would say.
Like dropping your trousers, like
yes, it is. Exposing yourself is what that is. It's exposing yourself. Okay. So yes, and again, if someone's asking for it, it's fine. But when they're not, it's really a problem. It's all I'm saying. It's really a problem. They don't want to. So anyway, that Applebee's commercial is coming up. Craig says Walker Hayes, Fancy Like, is the Applebee's song.
Yep.
And Grace says, yes, I love that Applebee's commercial. It's brilliant. So I think we found some art in an Applebee's commercial. I think we found some.
Am I wrong? Idiocracy. Like literally, we're just watching ourselves devolve into thinking that an Applebee's song is a good song. Like I feel like I'm gonna blow my brains out.
The real they like the song. What are you talking about?
Because they're idiots. I'm sorry, no offense.
The test is, does anyone listen to that song 10 years after it came out?
Oh, interesting. Will they listen to it 10 years later? Interesting. Okay, interesting. We'll see if that's true. Okay. Angie's mad at me for some reason. She's calling me Jimmy Dore. I don't know. I don't get it. Hold on. Oh man, Larry's on the same time as Jimmy Dore. I can't make my mind. Oh no, she's not mad at me. She's happy. She's watching me and Jimmy Dore. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ad. I thought you were mad at me for some reason. Okay, she's not mad at me. I misunderstood it. Okay, I think Jimmy Dore is fine. You can go back and forth if you like. I'm better looking than Jimmy Dore, that's for sure. But that's fine. I'm not mad at him for that. No worries. So Jess says there is some good newer country. They're not mainstream though. Yeah. I'm a fan of older country though. Is that true? You got your country fan, Zach?
Yeah, there's some newer stuff, and it's sort of like a move back to like people are using like banjo and they're
okay.
They're using like the old instruments, and it's weirdly it's all liked by people like my sister who lives in the city and works at like a tech company. It's not liked by people in the country, but people don't specifically dislike it. They just haven't heard it because the record labels don't want to put that kind of stuff out because it's not, they can't put an Applebee's commercial in it. and I wish I was joking, but
yes. But look, hold on. You got people going for this decolonization thing. Jess says, WTF, decolonizing music, people have lost it. Yeah, I mean, so you got people mad. Hold on, before you go, Grace goes on, decolonize, write Willie Dixon's estate another check, Jimmy Page.
Yeah, you decolonize as soon as you get rich, like the Dixie Chicks. Like they're the chicks now, but you just wait until after the paychecks come in, then you decolonize, and then you decolonize, but you make sure. Well, I still get to be in the colony, but just no more white people can join in. That's the thing. I mean, that's the way to win because it's all these white people who are like, okay, I've made my position. Now we can definitely decolonize music because I'm in a safe position. But it's a good idea. If you realize you're under threat from like people who, hate you, what do? You're like, yeah, let's keep all of them out except me.
Well, you got Mike triggered. He says can't be racist against whites according to them. See what you did? That's on you, Zach. You got everybody mad now. First, I got Tatiana insulting them, calling them all stupid. Now I got you calling racist. I'm not gonna have anybody left.
Imagine being a white blonde girl studying decolonizing music from NYU, and you're paying $50,000 a year. Like, I mean, I don't know. It seems to me that seems like a bad idea. If you were the executive in charge of the company, maybe you get a degree in that, and you could, just for the hell of it. But if you're somebody going into music, you might. I think you have to like opt out of joining the industry, because then you'd be doing the thing that you studied to not do.
But she's special, Zach. Okay,
oh,
she's
yeah.
special. She's special. Alexa, thank you for the $5. Appreciate that. She says, I think the iPhone ads, where it stacks everything, including famous artwork, family members, whatever, and crushed it all to an iPhone, says a lot. I don't know that ad. Do you guys know that ad?
Yeah.
Well,
I just
go ahead,
don't know
please.
what a lot is. What is it saying? Like, what is the? I guess I'm looking for clarity.
well,
Maybe you.
It's a commercial where they just take an amalgam of just everything, like a freaking can of Mountain Dew or just random items, and they smash them all into a phone, and it's like books and music, because it's showing that you can essentially do anything from your iPhone. Like, it's all in there.
Got it. Okay.
With the ultimate irony, and again, to Tatiana's point about idiocracy, it's like we have all of the things now. They're right there in front of you, and we are less intelligent than we've been in a long time as a society.
Yes.
Although one could also blame that, not just like, I mean, I think there's been a concentrated effort to dumb us down. So that could be placed on place the blame on the food, on the air, on the water, on all the other ways that they're poisoning our mind. I mean, the education system, the broken family, the list goes on and on about how they've made people sick.
So Jess actually wants me to do a selfie with a smoothie. Take that, Tatiana. Take that. She wants it. See that? So I got fans who want to see me have smoothies.
It, but I don't want to give it. I want to go on with my life. People are asking me to give away the sanctity of my moments. So I could desperately hope for another please, somebody just thank me, tell me I'm cool. Look at me all the time. It just makes me want to puke. The pressure and also the stupidity of it. It's just really high.
I know people who would do a show with their name on it or something. What an asshole. Who would do something like that?
No, that makes
who would
sense
have their name on a show, be begging for people to watch? What a jerk that guy would be. I don't know who would do that.
Hey, Larry.
I'm totally messing with you. Go ahead, Dean.
Hey, I think part of the conversation, and you and I had a brief conversation about this story, so that it will be new to everybody else. But I think we want to remind people just how powerful music is, right? And part of it was how does music affect political campaigns? How does the right song sway you to move one direction or the other? And I know I had this,
or even connect you to an emotion, even, right? If you remember, it was RFK Jr. who was using the "I Am a Real American" song.
Yeah.
But which was, by the way, a Hulk Hogan song back in the 90s or something, right? But Hulk Hogan is over at the Trump rally. So Hulk Hogan's at the Trump rally. Meanwhile, his song's at RFK, because everybody wants to somehow grab Hulk Hogan, because that's America.
Yeah. So the song I produced 5 albums in way back, a couple of, music has always been a passion, but not what I really made money on. And I told you this, but I thought I would tell this to the audience just to remind them the sheer power of music, and also the ways in which music can manipulate people, right? Because it's influence. If I'm singing along with this beautiful song that I love, and it's Kamala Harris or it's Trump or something like that, now I start to maybe associate that feeling, and the crowd, if you have a large crowd, right, that's going along with the song, then you start to get then you're creating this common bond, right, of love, right? And whether the message and what they're trying to do is something completely different, that doesn't matter. That's advertising, right? How do I get you to buy my message or buy my product, whatever it is? But I wanted to remind people the true power of music, and I think how it saved my life. So way back in the day, when it was Junior Vasquez and Danny Tignaglia, and I was on the music scene, I was releasing an album called Awaken. And I had this boy walk up to me, and he said, "Are you the DJ and producer on this album Awaken?" And I said, "Yes." And I'm almost never recognized, so I'm like, my eyes perk up, right? And what he told me was blew my mind. He walked up to me and he said, "You know, you gave me this album." And he said, "I was on my way home to kill myself." And he said, "But I stuck this CD into my CD player. And by the time I got home and listened to the entire album, I wanted to live again. And I wanted to thank you, Dean, for saving my life." Now that just blew my mind, right?
Of course.
Now it could have been another artist with beautiful music. I'm not saying that I had the special creation to save his life, right? But you know, that album was created under a lot of stress and a lot of my own problems, and there was a lot that I put into that album. And you know, my heart broke because I looked at this boy, probably gay, and I couldn't even imagine. He had such a beautiful personality. You can't even imagine, like, what were you thinking? Like, why would that even go through your mind? Is that your parents persecuting you? Did you just lose your boyfriend or girlfriend? Or like, what made you think that that was like an option? And then when music comes along and you stick that in there and you listen to it, and suddenly you're saying, "I want to fucking live again," right?
Yeah.
That is the power of music, right? And I'm sure there are any number of albums he could have listened to at that moment in time. It just happened to be mine, right? I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, I think I'm good at what I do, but I'm, you know, so I'm not trying to say
credit, Dean. You saved the guy's life. It's good. Take some damn credit. Stop being humble.
But yeah.
Good.
What I'm saying is there are many artists out there. There are many artists out there. There are many artists out there, right? That provide that kind of lift, right? When you are in a moment where you are down in life, everything is going wrong, and then you listen to a piece of music for continuous mixes. For me, when I mix them, are a story, and you have to pay attention to what the lyrics say. And also, I tend to like things on the minor key.
So this
right?
this is getting heavy. This is getting heavy. You talked about a lift, so I gotta unheavy it because some about lifts. Okay. Someone likes Brazilian butt lifts, which is nice. So I was exactly correct, Zach. You screwed up. You don't have one yet. That's your problem. Cleavage is nice, but you got to go with the butt lift, or otherwise you're going to be in trouble. I'm just saying that. Yes.
Noted.
Yeah, there we go. Noted. I think the Swifties are coming after us right now. I got like 3 people telling me the Swifties are coming. So we are now in trouble. If I get killed, Zach, that's your fault. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, come on.
If I get killed,
it's your fault. Say your worst. I'm waiting.
But the funny part is they're not, because Matt's like, I'm so effing sick every time the Chiefs play, they show Taylor Swift every 5 minutes. So he's like on your side.
The contract with him and Taylor seems to be over soon. So maybe you'll get your wish and she won't be there. They'll just show his tears and say, "How can Travis play without his side, you know?
He can't play anymore." Yes. Yeah. He blew that play. It's because Taylor's not here anymore. That's the reason. Yes.
I just want Ryan to tell me. Come on, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan agrees with you, Dean. He says Taylor Swift has brainwashed a generation of women. I think he's saying what you're saying, Dean. Ryan agrees with you. He's saying that really affected people.
Well, I mean, are we talking about negative emotions, positive emotions? Positive emotions, yes. Great, right?
No, but he's saying negative, like you.
Right. You know, so you can put a beautiful melody, you can put the best music and the lyrics, and then the lyrics, when you listen to them carefully, right, it's about something that went wrong. And so I think that's worth studying, right? That we understand how lyrics affect us and how the message affects us, because I know this from advertising, so it must apply to music. Because I mean, when you watch a movie and you like a movie, you might watch it a second or third time, maybe, right? But there are not a lot of movies where you do that. But with music, isn't it interesting that as an art form, music, I I might listen to that song that I love 100 times in my lifetime, or
True.
maybe 100 times, right? But there is no movie that I am watching 100, unless I'm a psychopath or something, that I'm watching 100 or 200 times. So the message.
So now you're calling me a psychopath. Okay.
Oh, shit.
I say you are. So you just insulted, you started Gitmo, now you're on to me. Okay. All right, I say you are.
Brother.
I'm just messing with you. It's all good.
I'm just saying it's
so
more
good.
easy to repeat music than it is to repeat a movie, right?
Yeah.
And so you know, sometimes.
But hold on, let me push back on that for a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
The average song is probably about 3 minutes long, give or take. The average movie is about an hour and a half, 90 minutes.
Electronic music, it's more like 6 minutes, extended 9 minutes or something, but that's so that you can mix into the music. You have a portion that you can mix in and out of. Yeah.
So, but pop music is around 3 minutes. Is that right? Usually around 3?
3-4 minutes. Yeah.
So around 3 minutes for pop music. And then, but a movie is around 9 minutes, is about 90 minutes, right? Now, longer ones go 2 or 3 hours, but it was about 90 minutes, give or take, in that area. So now we're talking about a movie which is literally 30 times, hold the math right, 30 times longer. So if the song was 90 minutes long, I might not listen to it 100 times.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a really interesting video that's 4 minutes long and watched that 100 times?
Probably not. I can't think of one that I've watched that long.
I mean, there are some inspiring TED Talks or speeches that are 8 or 9 minutes that I've watched over again. But there's something about music that that makes you want to listen to it over and over and over and over again. It's more like a feeling, right? And that like if I'm feeling down, or if I'm feeling upset, or God forbid, I'm feeling like I don't want to live on this planet anymore, I know the right piece of music to put on to lift my mood up again, right? And
got it. Or the reverse, to put me in down if I want to be down, if I want to feel sorry for myself, I can do the opposite if I want to.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. I mean, it's not always healthy to do that, but but sometimes it is healthy to be like, I am going to survive. I'm going to fight, right? But always to have that music playing, and that is an interesting question. What does like if you looked at all of the music that's out there, right? Can we categorize it into the message that it's saying, and what predominantly, what are the words inside of music saying? Is it saying life is great, let's be joyful, let's live it, let's be happy, let's have a moment, right? Or is it saying relationships don't work out, life is crappy, I'm trying to survive, fight, you know?
So I do think that Alex has got some advice for you, Gitmo. He's saying you're messing up. He is. Oh, yeah? He's saying Gitmo Bae needs to jump on the breakup music bandwagon. That's your problem. That's something everyone will experience besides taxes. So,
but she's literally only written songs about that. She's never written anything about anything else other than like wanting to beat up other girls and like having fights.
Yeah.
Never. I've never heard her sing about anything else.
And to answer Mr. Bogdanov, I'm not going to do that. So no.
Ryan, thank you for the $5, my friend. He says, Larry, I'm now in the same boat as you. The Swift is going to come after me too. It's Budweiser's fault. Well, at least now you put Budweiser in this. This now has a commercial. Budweiser, please pay lots of money. I now have a commercial in this. Good, I've sold out. See, Ryan and I, we're on the same page. We're selling out. We got Budweiser. Let's do something about Cheerios maybe or something. This will get the kids. Let's do Cheerios.
Yeah. I'll have to start drinking. I'll have to start drinking this just like this.
Exactly.
Even though the lip is on the other side.
It doesn't matter. Yes, exactly.
Get the logo in the right position.
You got to turn it sideways and drink like this.
Yeah,
make sure you get the logo. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. I'm gonna make a killing on this one. All right. Yes, it's gonna be great. I do love that. That's good. So let me grab a couple more here. Dre says, let the markets decide. If Taylor sucks, she puts asses in the seats, and that's what the money is for artists. It's a valid point, but we can still say yes or no, right? Go ahead.
No, because there's nobody else that can even get on the radio. You need $1 gajillion to even remotely compete. Everybody's like even, and she's just so fantastic. The market decided that she was great. Did you know that Taylor Swift's daddy bought $1 million worth of her first record?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I just found that out. I was like, wow, I want a daddy like that.
Yeah, me too. I got the wrong dad.
And she's exacerbating the problems that we're having too, because she had a deal with some record label about her album, and essentially they were getting like a certain percentage of the album sales or whatever. I don't even know the specifics of the deal, but she was bitching about it because they were getting money. So she re-recorded the album and then released it, which is going to set a future precedent where these companies that are signing these contracts are going to have to be worried that their artists are just going to do what she did because she wanted 100% of the royalties. Why does she need these royalties? And if we're talking about taking royalties from people who don't deserve them, here's something interesting. Spotify takes, so anyone who streams my music in the United States, I'm split up into a percentage pool with every stream in the United States. So for example, Taylor Swift gets some crazy amount of streams, like 5% of all streams. It's not that many, but it's, something crazy like that. So she gets 5% of the entire bucket, even if people don't listen to her. So if I have 1,000 super fans that are paying $10 a month and they listen to 50% of everything they listen to is my music, which I actually do have some of those, I should get 50% of what they're paying to Spotify, or what Spotify pays out in royalties, right? But instead, even though those people don't listen to Taylor Swift, she still gets 5% of the total royalties. So, wow. Yeah. So she's up here complaining about that, and she gets her fans to join in. She gets her fans to like get involved. They're like emotionally involved in this deal. I'm like, what? They're like, I don't give a. I don't know. They're like spending their money to buy her new album. Like,
yeah. And then they're mad. You got to give her more money. She only has $1 gazillion. Come on. Oh my God. Yes. That's weird. So,
well, I mean, it's behavioral science is what it is, right? You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of psychology going on here. It's about manipulation, deception, and of course, we don't want the manipulation and deception, but what we're talking about is we are human beings. We're still uncertain about so many things about our reality. And, we're still in the process of learning how we motivate each other and how we affect each other. And, music powerfully affects people. And then you have an audience, right? That large. That's
massive. Yeah.
It's massive, right? And she is not intelligent, presumably, about technology or politics. I mean, she might
probably not.
I don't know. Maybe she reads on the side and she's like super smart about, I mean, that might come out, right? But presumably she's not. She's like, music and art and all of this. Like, so like you can't simply trust a person like that to give you advice on politics and the world and everything like that, unless she said, my minor was,
right. No, I get you,
or whatever it is, right?
So, well, Grace says I should have taken the $8 million and run for governor. She's right. She is correct. I should have taken it. Yes, 100%. I should have done that. But she goes on to say something important. She's talking about the art. She says it's commercial art. That's her idea for the marketing. And she also says, I bet Andy Warhol would call marketing art. I think I think we do divvy it up, right? I think we divvy it up as commercial art, which its job is to sell, versus non-commercial art. Maybe its job isn't to sell. But the problem is, aren't we now trying to sell our art anyway?
Well, wait. Say that again.
I'm saying we're breaking it up as in, she's breaking it up as in, let's say, commercial art, whose goal is to sell, versus non-commercial art, which goal in theory isn't to sell, but don't we also want to sell our art? So
I see now. So to me, what's more important is that the thing itself is so good that it's considered art. Like there's tons of sculptures that were commissioned by individuals, in the Roman times, and we have those, and those were just self-aggrandizement things. They were or building a house, or like you see an old Roman building and you're just like, that's beautiful, right? These are, I mean, anything that's made that just we look at and we think this is something that needs to be preserved, or this is something I want to put on my wall, right? That survives for a long enough period of time. That's art. right?
Mm.
And
I've always said that how I've always said art is. I've said art is something that creates an emotion that stays, right? It's not fleeting. It creates an emotion that stays with you. That to me is how I've defined what art is, right? If it's like fleeting, like I saw the thing and got mad, that's not art. But if I saw the thing and got mad, and maybe 6 years later, I'm still mad, okay, maybe that's art. Like it stayed with me, right? I felt love when I first heard it once, and then I felt the thing again. That's not art. But I hear it to Dean's part. I hear it the fourth time, and I still feel love. That to me seems like art. I feel like something that leaves a lasting emotion is something that I would say is art.
Yeah, well, like whatever.
Authentic.
Does it have to leave a lasting emotion? Can it just give you an instant emotion?
I don't think it's art. No, I think that because that can just be shock.
I don't know, because look at, like, first of all, I don't think that any of us have the ability to designate what it's art because it's so subjective. You know what I find interesting? Have you guys seen like those Pepes? You know, the Pepe art, it's really popular. That is so ugly. Like a lot of it is just hideous. But to me, I consider it art because I think it's representative of our deteriorating culture. Like this is what, you know, before we used to have the Impressionist period. Now we've got the Pepe period. And apparently there's more images of Pepe than there are of Jesus, which is also effed up. So, you know,
wow. Pepe is that popular?
Yeah, I mean,
preference.
I don't know, like, and also,
but,
you know,
but then what I would say is, since you're still talking about it and it still affects you, I would say that's art, right?
Yeah,
that's my point.
I think Pepe is definitely art.
And that's why I would say that's why I would disagree with art being subjective. I believe that it's, you know, obviously there is subjectivity in art, but the things that survive are art, right? Like the other today I was scrolling through my phone and it was a sculpture of a Gaul from the Roman times by a Roman. And then there was a sculpture by the Gauls of a Gaul, and one looked better than the other. But you look at both of them and you say, you know, these are art, right? Like these survived over the years. When you go to a museum in 50 years and they have the exemplar of the laptop sitting there, whichever one survived and people use as an exemplar, I would say that laptop itself was some form of art because it was it's the one you think of when, right? Like it's like a Sherman tank.
That. I like that. Oh, I do like that.
Here's an interesting interjection, right? That the art that you're talking about, the methods of preserving art, I think are interesting.
Okay.
So if we have a solar flare, we're fucked. All of our data, all of our art, our MIDI information, everything is erased, right? And the amount of time that it takes for us to be buried under rubble to be forgotten is pretty easy with electronic devices. And so take our history on magnetic devices that are affected by solar flares, right? So whereas the pyramids are still standing because it's a piece of stone and somebody carved the, you know, do we need to start a movement where we carve the MIDI notes into a rock just to make sure that, you know,
I'm going to take pictures of each one of these episodes, and I'm going to have my daughter carve them into rock so that every episode has at least one picture of us. So we are there forever.
Right.
Yeah, we need to do that with funny tweets too.
Yes, also funny tweets, 100%. There's something for you specifically, Peace Logic. Mike Voss, who's watching, he says, many of the younger generation do watch the same movie many, many times. I know several that watch the same movie every day for years. So you're getting some pushback on that one. You are getting some.
No, it's easier to listen to a piece of music over and over again without having, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? That's like a classic movie to me. It's like fun. It's about being rebellious and all of that stuff. I've watched that movie probably like 20 times. But my favorite songs, I probably listened to hundreds of times.
But here's what I would actually jump on your side with this one, Dean, because I think most of those folks, I have kids, and my youngsters used to watch a lot of the same movies again and again. But why'd they watch them? Because they had songs in them. They were like Disney music. They all had songs. The movies had tons of songs in them. So they watched the movie, but then they sing along with the little creature or whatever was jumping around. They would sing along with the creature. So I think they were doing both, right? Watching a movie but kind of for the songs.
Yeah, but I think that's also
it's like a sing along. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's also a symptom of we've passed the golden age of movies.
Yes.
Like, you know, we all remember when, first of all, everyone knew every quote from a movie. We knew that every weekend there was a new groundbreaking blockbuster coming out. You know, it's like Gladiator came out, and like you know, like Catch Me If You Can, and all these. And I mean, even before then, all these amazing movies. Now we get Gladiator 2.
I would say the best time the movies golden age was late 70s through late 90s. Like that 20-year period was like the golden age right there. That was the golden age. And how do I know that? Because I have my daughter who wasn't born until the 2000s. I have her watch the older movies so she understands the trope, because the trope was made in the 70s and the 80s, and in certain cases 90s, but mostly 70s and 80s, where that was the original, when the guy did the funny quip after he slapped the woman or slapped the guy or whatever, right? There was the funny quip. That happened then, right? And now everyone does the funny quip or whatever. So those types of things happen then. I think that's the golden age. Am I wrong?
I wasn't alive for most of that period, and so I haven't seen most of the movies in the 80s.
Which is why you don't know what you're talking about, Zach. That's the problem.
I watched a lot of the 90s, but I watched the 90s.
What you were talking about.
My point is just the time is gone. Like they've, you know, I mean, come on. I watched Rollerball, or is that what the movie is? The
from the 70s or the remake?
Yeah,
Rollerball from the 70s.
Obviously, that was the peak. We would all agree, but
if you watch
Scanners, you remember Brain Scanners, Larry?
Yes. If you watched Rollerball in the 70s, right? When you watched that movie, that was like this dystopian future that we all thought was going to happen, like the 90s. Like we thought that was going to happen. We thought Rollerball was going to be real in the 90s.
I mean, was it really that wrong? You know, I saw a picture today. Someone they had a picture of Berlin in like 1898, and then they had it now, and there were all these beautiful buildings and like architecture, and then they had the picture of now, and it's like these like glass, like just nothingness of like
100%.
It could have been any city in the world.
City. Yep. You have to look in most cities in the world to know what city you're in. You have to look for a landmark. Oh, you don't know what city you're in. You look for in most cities. You look for a landmark. I completely agree. Daniel says, "I'm old. Music that takes me back to a happier time is what I do when I'm feeling low. I have an antique car that's the same for me." This is what you're talking about, Dean. You know, what kind of music brings you back, right? Yeah. Someone earlier also said, I guess Larry, that we don't like The Cure, right? When I was in high school, The Cure was hot. That was like the band back then. That was the emo band, was like The Cure back in the day. So I still remember those songs.
Or you remember the band? What was it called? The Men Down Under or something? Give me a bit of your soundage. I'm trying to think.
You mean Men at Work? Men at Work. Yes.
Yeah.
The name of the song was The Land Down Under.
Yeah,
The Land Down Under. Right.
He wanted to give me a Vegemite sandwich. He said, he asked, "Do you speak my language?"
Yeah,
and he just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know why I love the rhythm and the whatever it is.
That's a great song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Larry, I was curious. You brought up, you said something about war songs earlier.
I wanted to bring that whole idea up too, right? The idea that, you know this, Gitmo, because you're a veteran also. When I was in the Marine Corps, the songs we would sing when we were running, the songs we would sing when we were marching, were terrible. I mean, there were horrible songs about graphic violence. And I remember once, and the reason you're laughing because you know I'm right. We sang about horrible graphic violence just to motivate us to be able to go to combat and to do the horrible graphic things, right? And I remember watching a movie. I think it was called. It's a German movie about a story that's supposed to be based upon a real person. It's a Jewish kid who's caught in Poland during the German invasion in 1939. And he speaks German, but he's Jewish, he's a Pole. So he pretends to be a German kid who was attacked by the Poles so he can survive the camps. And the Germans buy it. They go, "Oh, okay, he's one of us." They don't put him into the camps. So they have to adopt him because he tells them that, oh, my kids were killed by the evil Polish. He tells them the story. And so they literally put him into like the SS training camp, and he's a Jew. And so he has to sing horrible songs about like killing Jewish people and stuff. And I thought to myself, how do you feel singing that? And then I remembered, oh, I was singing that shit when I was in the Marine Corps. Like it wasn't racist, but I mean, it was still horrible about doing terrible things. And I think songs can make people even want to do bad things. Songs can unite us, even in bad. It can motivate us to do horrible things. There was someone told me this. If you look at the older war movies, you know, there's always music in the war movies, drummers, trumpets, right? All types of music, bagpipes, right? If you ever watched the old movie, The Longest Day, the Longest Day, when they make the invasion, I think it's the Scots who make the invasion. They come aboard the beach with bagpipes. I'm like, what's going on? Like they literally have bagpipes. So I wanted to bring that up because I felt like music can even be used for war to get people to do, or even to motivate people to support a war, or the opposite, to get people to hate war. All the anti-war songs of the 60s, all the anti-war songs of the 70s, back when a part of our country was anti-war at least. I don't know. I wanted to go that road because it just bothered me because I think we've lost some of that.
It's a part of behavioral science, right? When you look at the lyrics, when you look at there's minor keys and there are different keys that you can play music in that gives you a different feeling. And then there's the words, and the words can contrast with the feeling. And so you can end up singing along with a song that you don't actually agree with, but then you love the melody of the song and the rhythm of the song. And so then you end up repeating it over and over again in your head. And that's what I would question about when we as artists create music, that maybe we do need to understand a little bit more about behavioral science and how something affects somebody over and over again. Like if there's a really good song I just love the melody, I love the music, the chorus, the everything. And then the words say, let's kill people, right?
Right.
That's like that Pumped Up Kick song. It's great melody, weirdest message. Like it's about like a school shooting.
Yeah.
Sounds so fun. Like all the other kids, and I'm like dancing in the car, and I'm like, what the hell are they singing about?
It's terrible. Absolutely.
I was dancing with people on the dance floor, right? That I was, like really into. And the song was saying shit isn't going to work out while I'm dancing on the dance floor with them, right? Going like, rah, rah, rah. Like, so we need to pay attention to that, right? We need to
I'm with you. I totally agree. Well, guys, I want to ask one thing of my audience, if I could. If you like this, it is critical that you click the button that is like. Click that button. Please share this. Do that. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. You know, super chat me if you want to, but no matter what you do, please, everybody who's here, the description is in their details in the description on both YouTube and Facebook. You can follow Dean at Peace Logic. You can find Tatiana at Queen Tatiana. You can follow Gitmo Bae on Instagram at GitGTMO_BAE, if you can do that. Guys, anything I'm missing? Tatiana, anything you got to say before you go?
I don't know. If people want to hear my songs, they can go and pay me $0 at Spotify and all the other places. I put out a record called Love Songs for Idiots last year that was pretty funny, so people can check that out. But otherwise, I hope to see people at the Counterparty. Go to thecounterparty.com and come see us in October here in Miami. Escape your terrible state and come stay in the Freedom State.
There we go. You can go do it if you like. Anything you want to say, Gitmo, before we go?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say with the military songs, I know exactly what you mean. It's if you listen to every song about the Civil War, they're always singing about states' rights and defending our property, but they never talk about what property they're defending. so you can definitely manipulate people by just putting in the right words and leaving out the other words. Fun fact, I was actually listening to the song Head Down to Salisbury Town. You heard the song? I never knew that was about, it's like headed down to Salisbury Town. I remember that song. It's like a beach song, but it was about the war in Rhodesia. And I was like, what? This is like a happy beach song, I thought. Nope, it's about war in a country that doesn't have beaches. So
there we go. Yes.
If you want to hear other obscure facts, follow me on Instagram, and you'll get to see me talk about weird stuff on podcasts. So
there we go. Dean, anything before you wrap up?
I'd love to say a few things before wrapping up. One, I want to give a shout out to Arthur Galestian. We're going to be licensing music from him for the documentaries that we're creating. He's an incredible musician.
Nice.
And so check him out at galestianmusic.com for sure. And then I just want to urge everybody that you have to interrogate your mind about everything, right? Whether it's music, what it's you're listening to, the food you're eating. Like there's so many, like we're all just connected, right? And that is one of the songs from Arthur Galestian, and also We'll Learn to Fly. That's why I love his music so much, because the melody, the words and everything are about lifting us up. And I think as artists, we do have to have moments where we can go, let's just all cry together, but we have to create more music that is uplifting and like the world's going to be a better place. And I would say that to all the artists listening out there or creatives, that we need to concentrate on creating a more positive message. We do need that yin and yang, but I think we're just tilting a little bit more heavy on the negative, and we need to be aware of that and just lift ourselves out of that.
There we go. Guys, I want everyone who's watching, please do me a favor. You know what has to happen. Once I'm done with this, come back, leave a comment, and I will respond. I will see you all very soon. By the way, I'll be on tomorrow, 1 p.m.